I'm here with James Sheehan ahead of his fight at Cage Warriors 161 at the RDS in Dublin. James, thanks for joining me. Um, the last time we saw you was back in April against Oban Elliott. That one unfortunately snapped your losing streak. After a couple of months to reflect on that now, what are your thoughts on that performance as a whole?
A few things. It still hurts deeply. It hurts because I felt so good backstage. I felt the weight cut went the best it's ever gone before. I genuinely did feel fantastic backstage, and maybe I let that get to my head a bit too much. I was cracking pads, and I really did believe deep down that I was gonna finish it over. And in the fight, then I just felt because I kind of had that in my head, I nearly started loading up on shots, and that split second extra to actually land. And fair play to Oban. Oban just did what he had to do. He just pot shotted me and just moved around and just used his ring craft and fight IQ, and he was that split second quicker. And I think I am just like I think I am up there. Like I can be Cage Warriors champion. I just feel I nearly lost that fight for myself. So that was a real kick in the teeth. But like like a man, um, a mature fighter, I straight away after that fight, I just took a look. I watched it back so many times and just saw, look, that's what it was. This is what I need to do for the next camp, and then just got straight back to work, and that's literally what I've done. So I've worked on my faults, and that was the main takeaway from that fight. Anyway.
This card now, Cage Warriors 161, this is going to be the first MMA event in the RDS in Dublin as opposed to the Three Arena. What is it like for you as someone from Dublin to be a part of quite a historic card in Irish MMA, the first MMA event in the RDS?
Yeah, it's definitely cool when you like. I'm a bit of a like prisoner of the moment that I don't think about the grander scheme of things. Like when I was fighting in the Tree Arena and the Cage Warriors card coming back to Dublin, like it is pretty cool looking back at it that did get a fight in the Tree Arena again and Cage Warriors returned to it. But like ultimately, it doesn't matter where the venue is. All I'm thinking about really is the fight and my opponent. So maybe after the fight, I'll kind of it'll sink in that it's a bit of a big moment for Irish MMA. But at the moment, I feel like I just get locked in on the opponent and the fight itself.
Your opponent next weekend, Olli Santalahti. What do you make of him as an opponent? 13-5 overall. Do you think that this is a solid test for your comeback fight?
Definitely. Like this, I'm at the stage in the Cage Warriors roster where you're not going to have any easy fights. To be the man, you got to be the man. And like I'm literally, if I beat Santalacti, I'm right in the mix for the title. Like O'Neill Brown, a guy that I beat, is fighting for the title now. And I do believe that he's going to beat Yanis. So I defeat Ollie, and then that'll set up the rematch with O'Neill Brown. But to answer your question, Ollie Santalahti, yeah, he's good. He's terrible nowhere, but exceptional nowhere either. He's a durable guy. He's definitely gamey. Yeah, so Ollie as an opponent, like I'm getting to the stage in the Cage Warriors roster where you're fighting for title contention. So you're going to be facing the best guys in Europe, and like I do believe Ollie is that. He's a durable guy, and he's got a good base everywhere. I feel like I edge him on the striking, maybe on the wrestling as well. But he's a solid guy. He's very durable, and he's gamey as well. So it's gonna be a tough fight. It's full of fireworks. So I'm really looking forward to it.
You were mentioning that you feel like you're getting into a title contention now, and with Reece McKee gone from the UFC, an old foe of yours, O'Neal Brown, he's fighting for the vacant title soon. Do you think with a win next weekend that you are in line for that title fight, particularly if Brown does win?
Absolutely. Like it's the story is just too good as well. Like two guys that faced each other previously. Um, I had a split decision then, even though I wasn't happy with my performance then. I feel like could have done a lot better. I'm sure Emil wanted to avenge his loss as well. So what better way is to redo it for the actual title? And me and Emil, since we fought, we've both gone on a great win streaks, and like I've had my loss to Oban, he's had his loss to Skibinski. So yeah, we're definitely the two guys in the welterweight division. So
And the last one for me, I know you mentioned earlier that you're trying not to get caught up in the grand scheme of things, so to say. But this has been a big year for Irish MMA. We've had Sean O'Bannon, Caelan Loughran, Reece McKee, Kiefer Crosby all go to the UFC. We've got Paul headlining this event. This is the fourth major event we're having in Dublin this year, and we have the PFL Europe Championships at the end of the year. Do you feel like Irish MMA is in a resurgence right now? And what's that like for you to be someone coming up in the middle of that? You're one of the guys on the come up at the minute that we could see in the UFC in just a couple of years' time.
yeah, it's. I was only speaking about this to my brothers there a couple of days ago, because it was it was the Cage Warriors on New Year's Eve. I don't know how many years ago, but that was my first Cage Warriors show that I went to go watch, and it was the McGregor winning the lightweight belt before he went to the UFC, and it was in the Helix, and I was just saying to the lads that like that seemed like a huge time for Irish MMA, but they couldn't even sell out the Helix, right, for a huge superstar like McGregor. So it just goes to show, like, we've moved on to doing the Tree Arena and now the RDS in Dublin with Cage Warriors. So the sport has grown so much since then. And I started it when like no one really knew what really MMA was. Like, I started before McGregor got onto the big scene and everything. So like I definitely have like seen the change in attitude in the public, and it is cool that like people can actually understand it and not just be like, oh, you do that UFC thing, right? Like you actually do like mixed martial arts. They understand the sport a bit better, and it's definitely cool. But ultimately, like everyone else in this game, it is great to see other Irish guys doing good and the sport getting bigger. But we all do this for selfish reasons. I just want to go in there and I care about me winning and my teammates and stuff like that. So it's cool, but at the end of the day, it's for me. I do the sport for me and me only. So it's a bit selfish, but that's unfortunate. That's what you have to do. When you're a professional fighter, like you do it for yourself, and like all of your friends and family have to make sacrifices, and that's it. So to answer your question in a long way, it's cool, but it doesn't make much of a difference to me. I whether people are interested in the sport or not, it doesn't bother me.